What's going on, everybody? Gary B. Jr., your media consultant here, and today we're going to go over the full feature set or list of features on the FreeShow website together. So many of you have probably seen this list of features, but you have not dove deeply to understand exactly how to use them. So today we're going to work on understanding where these features are in FreeShow so that you can make the most of the program to continue to create excellent presentations. So let's go ahead and get started. So the very first one we have is price. We all know FreeShow is completely free. Very cool feature. Unlike other programs like Proclaim, Pro Presenter, Easy Worship, even these programs are good, but they're not completely free. FreeShow is. Another thing that sets it apart is the language listing that we have. Let me show you how it works. So if you go into the program and you go up to your settings in the upper right and you select that, you'll see under General, the very first page in settings, a whole list of languages that you can pick from to use for this program. All right. Another option that we have in FreeShow involves Cloud Sync. And so Cloud Sync is really cool because what it does is if I go over to my files, it allows me to do a Google API service account and create that. And when I do, it walks me through the steps I would need to take. If you go to the website under the docs, you'll be able to follow along and be able to set up a Google API that you can use both at home and on your church computer, and they will become synced up with the features and the assets of FreeShow. So you don't have to worry about missing that content. Now, as a disclaimer and as a backup, it's always important to have a physical backup. So if you plan to make files at home and then head to another building or location, always back them up. Put them on a thumb drive, a hard drive, or something like that, just in case. Internet issues could arise at any time. Network issues can happen, and then you'll be stuck trying to recreate what you made at home because it didn't sync up. All right. So keep that in mind as you use that feature. It's a very, very useful feature, though. All right. Another one is customer support. With FreeShow, you can create tickets on GitHub. All right. And the best way to do that is to go to the FreeShow website and you can go to this little option right here. Looks like a little cat. That's the GitHub logo. And you can go to issues and you can select an option here that says new issue. And when you do that, it allows you to submit a ticket. The developer himself will see that ticket himself and be able to give you an update, or someone from the community that's supporting it as well will be able to give you some feedback. All right. The next feature in FreeShow is projects. These involve weekly services that are compiled together as a project. So each weekly service in FreeShow, if I go over here to my shows and I go to here, you'll see that I've got all kinds of folders. And inside of each of these folders is projects. And each project includes multiple different shows. And so if I were to go to this particular one here and I select this, you'll see that this project involves several different sections, the colored parts there, and you'll see that they involve several different shows. And each of these little icons in blue represent a different show. This one's a video, this one's a song, songs here, and then these are scriptures down here. These are all different shows. If I select one, you'll see that one looks like that. If I select this one, it looks like this. So all different kinds of shows are included in your project. All right, let's go to the next one. Slides. So these include text, images, videos, cameras, and overlays. So as I said before, we've got a bunch of different slides here that you can see. And if I select the edit option, you can edit these slides and do all kinds of fun stuff with them. But slides are a crucial part of FreeShow because what they do is they allow you to create shows. So each show is made up of slides and each project is made up of shows. All right. Let's talk about groups. So groups in FreeShow has to do with choruses, verses, bridges, and things like that that are all parts of a song. So here's a song here, I Speak Jesus, and you'll see verse 3, you'll see chorus 2, and this is a variation that I made. So if I go back to the default, you'll see verse 1, which is a traditional way to start it, I guess, and then verse 2, chorus, and then verse 3. These are all groups, and you'll see on the right side a list of all the elements in terms of different parts that compound different groups. On the right side here, you can drag those in, you select them, and they'll be added in to the actual show, all right, which is all these slides combined. The next one is preview, and that is simply what I'm doing up here in the upper right. You can see a preview of everything that you're presenting as the one that's running the show. And if you look at the very top there, you'll see the pink, that's an overlay that's there, right? And that's actually showing up because I'm recording that into my program, but that is another output here. That's actually my NDI feed that I'm sending out to OBS to get those to show up there. All right. So you can preview everything. So if you had a stage display, that would show up here as well. And however many screens or outputs you're using, they'll each have their own preview to show in the program itself. RTE stands for Rich Text Editor. And what it does is it allows you to edit the font size, the alignment, etc. And so if I were to go up here to the edit page and we got our show, you can see that I could select over here in the right. I've got this particular text box. I can change the font size. I can change if it is set to auto size or not, to shrink to fit or grow to fit. You can do some alignment options. You can change if it's centered or left aligned, if it's top or bottom or center aligned. You can change the text in terms of if you want it to all be uppercase. You can do those kind of things in this program with the RTE or the Rich Text Editor. The next option is auto labels. So automatically assign groups like the chorus and etc. Like we saw earlier, when you do a search for a song in FreeShow in terms of making a new song. So we go here to a new song and we say new show. I can do a web search, and whatever song I look for by typing in the name and the artist and I hit web search, it'll automatically populate and auto label the chorus, the hook, the verse, and all those different things so that you don't have to worry about doing that later. All right. That's what that auto label is all about. And you've been using it. If you've been doing the web search, you've been experiencing that feature without maybe even knowing that that was a really cool feature that's there. Another one is chords. So you can show the chords for each part of the song. Now, showing the chords is something that's really cool, especially if you have a live band, a ministry team that are playing instruments and things like that, or singing. And what the importance of it is likely not for the audience, but for the folks that are on the stage to be able to see it on a stage display. All right. And so the way that that feature will work is that first we got to add a stage output. So I'm going to go to my outputs. I'm going to scroll over and I'm going to do my stage display here. If you don't have one, just hit the plus sign and select the option for the output type to be stage. All right. And then you want to enable it. So I'm going to turn it on and you'll see here, I've got the word chords up there, right, as a part of my stage display because that's the show that I'm showing. It's just chords and then it shows the text on my slide. What we need to do is we need to go into edit that particular show, but I'm going to do it on this show so you guys can see it pretty easily. So I'm going to go into edit on this show and show you how you would add your chords and then how we can make those visible on the stage. So I just want to speak the name of Jesus. Let's say we wanted to go here and we can click this little icon that says chords. This looks like a music note. When I select that, it says you pick a letter, right? So I'll pick right there and then it pops up to let you select the chord that it should be in. We'll keep it at C. So we'll make it be chord C. And then if I look on the right side, there's an option here that says chords. And I want to make sure it shows the chords. And you can pick the color that it shows up as. I'll make mine be a bright green. Now on the upper left, you can see a display of real time what that C is going to look like. And it looks like it's just too tight or too close. So I'm going to raise it up to change the vertical offset. So I'm going to click this little arrow up until it doesn't look like it's overlapping in the way. So now I can see my C there and it's good to go. All right. Now, if I go back to the show, you'll see that the C is there. Now, how do we make this visible in our stage display? Well, what's going to happen is it's going to change what shows up at the top, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and select this here. And I'm going to go to my stage display, and this is what you will see. I just want to speak the name of Jesus, and you'll see the C there. So the folks on stage will see that particular letter showing up on the stage display. Now, right now, it's showing up also on the audience display. We don't want that. So we would go back to our edit and we would turn it off in this display. And I'll go back to the show. And when we hit the update, you'll see it goes away here, but it's still showing up on the stage display, which is important. All right. We want to make sure we can still see it there. And that's how the chords work. Let's go to our next feature. All right. The next feature we have is themes. So in FreeShow, if you go to your settings, you can change the look and color of the theme of the actual framing, the icons, and all that kind of stuff. So if we go over here to the settings on the left, you'll see an option that says theme. And my theme is this. It's got the text in white, the selections in light gray, secondary color or the accent color is blue. And then we've got the primary light, the primary dark, and then the primary darkest are all set here. You can change that by going to any of these. So I can go to aqua and you'll see everything change. All right. And the default is going to look something like this. And you'll see the pink accent and things like that. But maybe you want it to be like that. It'd be super bright and you want everything to be white with the dark gray text. I'm going to put mine back to blue. That's my preference with the darker background. But this is a feature that you don't see on programs like ProPresenter where you can change the look and feel of the theme of your program, which is really cool. The next feature we want to talk about are slide actions. This one's really fun because what it allows you to do is have complete control of your show. So if we go here and I'll right click on a slide, you can do that on any slide, but you'll see an option that drops out that says slide actions. You can go here, you can see a list of different actions that you can choose from, like go to start, which makes it loop back to the beginning. Next slide timer, so you can set a time length for this particular slide, or go to the next slide when you're finished with all the media on this slide. That's what this option is. And you also have some options to animate. And then you also have the opportunity to pick a MIDI action, a shortcut, and then a start action. So you can go into your list of actions here and you can make it do something when you get to that particular slide. So slide actions allow the slide to dictate when something else is going to change. Our next feature is transitions. All right. So transitions in FreeShow allow you to customize how your slides, your text, and your media all show up, right? How they move. So I can go over here to the far right up under my preview, and I can change the transitions here if I want to. And I'll see this whole list of fade, blur, spin, scale, slide. I can hit this and you can see more info. If you hit the details or the options there. For your text, you got the in, the out, and the between. And for your media, you get the in and the out. All right. I've got mine set to none, but you might have yours set to fade, okay, by default. You can go into your settings and you can see those same options if you go to your styles. So each style, you can set a unique type of transition option. And it's the same set of options that we saw earlier. And this one is set to fade at 0.5 with a easing of the flow option. You got all kinds of cool options here. You can make it jump, be elastic, bounce, circular, all kinds of fun stuff. All right. So transitions are available in the program. Timers. This is a really cool feature because what timers allow you to do is they allow you to make changes for the audience to see or for the stage, people on stage to see with a timer, right? So a lot of times ministries will like to manage the flow of their service with set amounts of time or allotted time. So if you go to your functions, you can go to timers on the left side there, and you see I have a whole list of timers. You may not have that many, but you can go down to the bottom and select new timer. And you got an option to create a timer from start to end. And that usually is going to be some type of countdown, right? From 10 minutes to 0 or towards a certain time. So if your service starts at 10 a.m., you can set this to be a 10 a.m. timer or to a certain event. If you have an event on the calendar in the program, you can actually make a timer that counts down to that event, and it's something that'll be running. So maybe that event is, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, 2 months away. You can have this countdown timer that points to that particular event, which is really cool. All right. Next, we have media. Okay. You can play videos as background or foreground items. Right now, this particular slide show has an empty background in the show itself, but there is this image graphic that's a background media, right? Let's say we wanted it to be a video. So I can go down and I can go to media, and I'm going to go to where I store a lot of my video files, and I'm going to do video backdrops, and we'll use this one, the motion background with the grid at the bottom. I'm just going to drag it on to my particular first slide in the show. And so now when I select my slides, you'll notice that it updates with the background that is a video. All right. And you'll see that video playing there. This is what the audience would see. And it's a really cool feature that you can use in the program. All right. The other thing that you can do with this particular program that you may or may not have known is you can use overlays. Overlays are really cool because they allow you to do what you would see like in a production setting of a TV network or something like that, to where they might pop up the breaking news icon. Or maybe you want to show during the ministry time, you want to show the name of the speaker, or you want to pop out the name of the church service, or put a QR code up for people to be able to give, or something along those lines. You can do that with your overlays. And I've got a whole list of them. If I go to all, you'll see I've got timers, I've got game show X's, I've got clocks, I've got cameras even here. We've got all kinds of ways you can add timers. This is a logo timer, or logo, not timer, but overlay that you can set up like that. And you can do all kinds of things. This is one of the default ones here. And then you've also got some that you can use that you can make them do scrolling. You can do all kinds of cool things with your overlays. All right. The next thing we have in this program is music. Music is something that you'll find in the audio tab in the program. And with FreeShow, you've got all kinds of ways to add and manipulate your music. So the first thing, you can add a folder from your computer. So wherever you've got your music stored, maybe you've got a music folder, which is ideal. Then you would actually point FreeShow to that folder, and it'll be able to pull any music that you've got in there into your presentation. Not only can it pull it into your presentation, but let's say you find something that you like. So I'm gonna go to music, and let's go to, I don't know if I have any music in that folder right away, but let's do a Christmas album. I want to go to that. All right. So I can right click on Frosty the Snowman, and I can add it to an effects library, or I can make it a favorite. Okay. If you make it an effect, that means it'll play over the top of any video or any other music that's playing. Typically you want that to be special effects, like sound effects. So let me show you what that would look like. So right here, I've got one that's a swoosh, right? So I can click that swoosh, and you'll see it play there, and you'll be able to play anything on top of your current media that's playing. So music is there. You can make playlists with it. Over here, all you would do is just drag your music in. So wherever your music is, you can just drag it into a new playlist by simply making a new playlist, titling it, and then dragging music into it. All right. Another feature is Bibles. You can use online Bibles from the actual functionality of the program itself. You can use local Bibles that you've downloaded and maybe purchased on a website or found on a website. And you can also create and make those into a collection of multiple Bibles that you share at the same time. To get to those, you will go to Scriptures, and that is in the bottom drawer here as well. And then the first thing I see is a list of my collections. I've got Bibles here, and then I've got API Bibles, which were part of the program that are web-based Bibles, right? So I got the King James, I've got the Amplified, so I can select Amplified. You'll see the Bible version here shows that it's Amplified Bible, and it gives you the different scriptures from the Amplified Bible. But maybe I want to do the New American Standard Bible from 2020. I can select that, and you'll see that the New American Standard Bible shows up here, and I can double click, and those verses will show up in your main display for your audience to see in that same template that you've got down here, which is my general default scripture template. All right. And you can do a lot of cool things with the Bibles. I don't want to forget, you can change the way that you find them by looking at the abbreviation to see all the Bibles, all the chapters, and all the verses from each book. You can do quick search over here on the right to find a book really quick, and a book and verse and a chapter, or chapter and verse really easily as well. But you've got a lot of flexibility when it comes to the way that you use and display your scriptures. You can even select a set of scriptures by holding down the shift key and selecting the bottom level that you want, and then right click and say convert to show. So I can select that, and it gives you some options to dictate what you want your show to look like. I want mine to be one verse per slide, and I want to split the reference showing each verse on each slide, and I can convert that to a show. And you can see now I've got all these verses that I selected and highlighted. They're now individual slides for me to use during my presentation as well. All right, so they don't have to stay down here in the quick lookup for the Bible. They can also be converted into a real show. And the next thing that you want to understand about this program is you can also use a calendar. We hinted at the calendar a little bit earlier, but you can add your own events in here. You can import your own calendar if you want to, and you can also schedule actions in your calendar. So I can go to events and I can make a new event if I wanted to. I can also go to schedule actions and I can make something happen at a certain time on my calendar, all right? Which is all really cool stuff. The next feature I want to show you guys or talk to you all about that's listed on the website is multiple outputs. So you can put the same content in multiple formats to multiple screens. All right. So this is an example of it right now. Right now I've got a big Bible verse here, which is running all over, which is really big because I selected all the books of the Bible, all the scriptures, not the books of the Bible, but all the scriptures there. But this one's here. This is a general scripture here, but that's what it looks like for the main audience. But online, let's say as I'm live streaming, in this case, I'm recording, all they see is multiple outputs, same content, multiple formats. And then on stage, they're seeing the scripture and the verse here, all right, along with progress time, progress level of the presentation, a clock, and a potential timer, along with a special message, an important message. And if they had any slide notes, they can put that in here along with the next slide as well, all right. If I were to arrow to the right, you'll see they can go back and you can see the next slide there. And it's actually showing from a certain portion of the slide. So if I select this, you'll notice that the item number is set to 1. I can make that go to 0 and you'll be able to see the full slide, but I can adjust what they see on the stage by showing which item on the slide that I want to make sure is visible or showing the entire slide. All right. Let's look at the next feature. The next feature is remote control. This program is really cool. If you go to the settings option, you'll be able to go to the option on the left that says connection. And in here, you can select remote show, which gives you the ability to see your entire project in a tablet or phone view or any other computer if you wanted to. And it's just using the network connection. So anything that's connected to the network, you can use that to see. You also can see just the stage view if you want. And then you also have this opportunity to control it from a remote control feature or function called Control Show that lets you arrow to the right or to the left to different slides if you wanted to. And all you would do is whoever you want to give that access to, you simply click on Remote Show for this case, and then let them scan the QR code, and it'll take them to an IP address on the network that takes them into that particular feature of the program. All right. Stage displays, we've talked about that in depth already. You can make your stage display look like this, or you can make any variation that you want. I've got one here that lets the user create and go to the next slide or previous slide if they want to. And I've arranged it different, but you can select these and move these wherever you want to. They're all selectable and movable. And all you do is go to your items and add more if you wanted to. So if you wanted to add a clock or a camera, timer, all those different things are there, and you can arrange the order that they're in terms of the layers that they're going to show up in. But that's completely up to you for how your particular speakers, worship leaders want to see their stage. The next option is the mirror screen option. And this one's really cool because a lot of programs don't allow you to do this. But in FreeShow, if you go to your media, you'll see an option that says screens. All right. And then first thing you'll see is like an NDI option, screens, and windows. I'm going to go to the main screens. And you'll see here, this is my OBS window. And then this is my FreeShow window that I'm sharing with you guys. So you can share your screen and make it pop up as a background item, or clear out everything in terms of the slides and overlays and then make the screen be the main thing. And you can walk people through how to do certain things using the program, and or share some video or something like that if you need to as well. Cameras are in the same area of media. Just one level down, you can go to cameras and you can see every camera that's connected to your computer. In this case, this is my webcam on the left. This is my iPhone here showing the camera or the light, I should say, that's looking at me there. And then you also have, I have an OBS camera here, virtual camera that's not on. And then I've got my main camera that I'm using right here with you guys. All right. Let's see what else we've got. YouTube, very cool feature. If we go over on the left side in our media tab again, and we go to the option that says online, you'll see an option here for YouTube. And all you have to do is you have to find a YouTube video. So if I go back, go to YouTube, and let's say we wanted to bring in this video from motion graphics. I'm gonna click on the three dots. I'm gonna click the option to share. And when I copy that, I can bring it back into FreeShow by clicking the add button at the bottom. And I'm gonna just call this one motion graphics. And then it asks for the video URL. You just simply paste that in. And now you got that video in your program in FreeShow as if it was any other type of media. It did not download the media, it's just embedding it. Okay, so to play it without any ads or anything like that. And you can simply click it like you would click any other video that's on your computer. This one still is on YouTube, don't get it wrong, but it is easily accessible. So you can still manage and create your shows really easily with that feature. MIDI support, right? So MIDI support is a part of FreeShow to where you can use MIDI signals to change your slides and do all kinds of cool things. If you use MIDI, you know that there's a lot of flexibility with that particular feature. Feel free to dive into that even more using FreeShow. And then Planning Center, if you go to your settings for Planning Center, you can go over here to your connections like we were for the remote, but Planning Center is there, and you can literally connect your Planning Center account and sync up all of your particular services. If you go to shows, it'll automatically create a category called Planning Center. Now, I don't have any shows in here, but it'll create that for you, and all your shows will show up there with all the order and details and things like that you want. CCLI can be manually entered, and it'll be there for any song option. So if I go to How Great Thou Art, you'll see in the metadata option here, a space. If you were to import that song and it already has a song ID, you can bring that in. It'll automatically populate, or you can type it in manually if you need to as well. And then localization. This is really cool because if you hit down here and hit this little globe icon under any show, you can do localization, which allows it to format the text and all that kind of stuff to whatever the region is that you are localized in or locally in. And then you got the option to draw on your show by going up here to the upper right, and you can highlight certain things and do fun stuff with your show that way. And then you also can PDF import and export. So you can go here to import items in the upper file option, and you'll be able to see the option for PDFs, and you can do something like that. But you also have the ability to go to export any show that you want, and just go to the export option, and it'll export the project, the show, or all your shows. All right. And you can import in that menu. You can import PowerPoints. If I go back up to the file import, you'll see the option for PowerPoint there. You also can, let's see here. PowerPoint is here as a media import. You also can import those as images if you wanted to, but you got all kinds of cool flexibility. And then graphics, we've seen the video graphics. You can do the same thing by adding, I had that graphic black kind of rustic look. You can add images into this program and drag and drop really easily. Lyrics, same way. We talked about how to make a show and bring those lyrics in. So you've got a lot of flexibility with this program, and that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you in a major way. Now, at this point, most people would ask you to like and subscribe, and I think that's great, but my goal is a little bit different. My goal is to empower as many people as possible all over the globe. And there's one way that you can really help me do that, and that is to leave a comment below with a question, a thought, how this video may have helped you, or things that were left out that you still have questions about, and to share this video with someone just like you, someone who is looking for answers, someone who's curious and wants to grow. With your help, I believe we can build a community of people that want to grow together. So until next time, God bless.